Chapter, Neuro and Psych, so it actually has been a while. Welcome back to the Beyond the Scope podcast, presented by NDMD Productions and made possible by Get Up Productions, your one-stop shop for launching your podcast. Let Get Up Productions do all the heavy lifting and give you the tools you need to turn your podcast dreams into a reality. Learn more at augustapodcast.com/NDMD. I'm your host, Andy, third-year medical student, and if you're familiar with the NDMD YouTube channel, you'll know that we love sharing stories from students, residents, and attendings of different medical professions while giving you an inside look into their lives, not just as healthcare workers, but the incredible people they are as well. This podcast continues the mission of sharing the incredible stories and experiences of students, physicians, and healthcare professionals. But this time, it's all about the things all those years of medical training doesn't prepare you for. Things that are beyond the scope of our practice, if you will. So whether it's navigating starting a family as a medical student or physician, or learning how to properly balance life and have some fun during your time as a medical student, the goal is to bring on incredible role models who can guide you through those puzzling questions. And with that being said, let's introduce today's guest/guests. And I say that because we don't just have one, not just two, but a whole crew of special guests with us today. Be careful if you're walking the sidewalks of a public park or hanging out on your college campus in between classes, because these guys might just come up to you wondering if you know how many lobes there are in your liver. A tight-knit group of friends turned content creators from the Texas A&M School of Medicine. These rising second-year medical students have gone viral across Instagram and TikTok, bringing laughter and education to millions across their platforms. Whether it's working with Texas A&M faculty or interviewing ignorantly confident strangers on the streets, every viewer is learning something whether they realize it or not. So without further ado, join me in welcoming the MedSchoolBoiz to the podcast. How are you guys?
We are doing wonderful. That was we've never really had the opportunity to have someone introduce us like that, so that's kind of starstruck right now.
Dude, I don't know how many times that was very natural of you. I'm kind of shocked. Jeez, I feel like I'm on Jimmy Fallon or something.
As I've told a lot of people, I've been doing this for a bit. It just comes with practice. You guys will have it too.
Yeah. Of course, hopefully.
But this is going to be real interesting. I've never had this many people in one recording session before, so we'll try to do this in the least first day of school orientation type deal. But can everyone introduce themselves, where they went to undergrad, and then what's your favorite organ?
Oh,
okay. Take it away, Aaron.
Okay, so what's up, y'all? We're actually recording from my home in Dallas. So I went to SMU, Southern Methodist University for undergrad. Took a gap year now at A&M for med school. Favorite organ would have to be the brain, primarily because I suffered from a TBI during a longboarding accident, and I had a brain hemorrhage and went to ICU unconscious. But 6 months, I fully recovered. So the brain is cool to me just because of that.
Hey Andy, my name's Arbo. I went to UT Austin for undergrad, and my favorite organ would probably have to be the skin. I don't know if I want to be a dermatologist, but I think the skin itself is really cool because that's what you see. It's cool. I don't know. Not much else to say about it.
Hey Andy, I'm Harsh. I also live in Dallas, and I went to UT Dallas for undergrad. And my favorite organ is probably the heart. We just wrapped up our cardio block right before starting summer break, so that's probably the organ that's been on my mind the most.
Very loving guy. Well, hey Andy, my name is Surya. I went to University of Houston for undergrad. In terms of my favorite organ, it's a tough question to answer. I actually don't like answering this question just because I find everything interesting. But I'd probably say the brain, just because these guys can probably attest to it and they probably get really annoyed with it. I like to have deep philosophical conversations and just talk about things like consciousness and all that stuff. And
you can just hear it in his voice.
I'm just saying. So I don't know. The brain just fascinates me in that sense, but it's a tough question to answer just because I find everything really interesting. So that's kind of my little spiel with that.
Have you considered psych?
That's what everyone tells me, but we'll see where the road takes me, man. I'm definitely thinking about it though, for sure.
I can actually see you as a psychiatrist.
We'll see how that rotation goes though.
Man, it's a good rotation. It's still early on though, so you got a little ways to go before you make that decision. But all right, so I know you guys have a motley crew with many members actually not here right now. How many people are kind of in the MedSchoolBoiz?
We got 10 of us. You know, well, we always say, you know, the MedSchoolBoiz is a mentality. So if you love having fun and you want to balance your stuff in life, you're a med school boy inherently. But in terms of our actual group, it's about 10 of us. So 6 of them aren't here right now. It's just 4 of us here right now. They really wanted to come, but I can't even imagine how we would have set this up with 10 guys.
Yeah,
so,
like
maybe
4,
this is
6 on the ground. Yeah,
this is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I'm just thankful to get some of you guys in, and I know this is during your summer break, so you guys could be doing literally anything else. It's probably better use of your time. But all right, one of the things I just want to say, big fan of y'all's work. And I think one of the biggest things that really drew me in when I first started seeing your videos is like everyone just seems to be having so much fun. So it's almost like you guys have known each other since childhood. I'm just curious, how did you all meet?
So we met. You want Harsh? You want to, or Arbo? You want to explain?
You got it, Harsh.
Yeah. So I think out of the 10 of us, only three of us, Salman, Jeswin, and Alan, they knew each other because they went to like high school and undergrad together, right?
In the valley.
In the valley.
2 of them did, yeah.
Yeah,
They basically had roots to the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, which is near the border of Mexico. They're
Yeah.
both from all 3 of them from there.
And so them three, they knew each other, but the rest of us, we didn't even know each other's names when we saw each other. And our school very fortunately had this like M1 retreat before school started, where they kind of took us out to this campsite and made us play all these games and introductions and gave us a bunch of tips on how to start medical school and just a lot of bonding time. And there was just one night where we all got together and played what was the board game that you brought?
Oh, it was Werewolves.
Yeah, and so we played that in one of our rooms, and it was just instantaneously we all just became good friends, and
Yeah. And then went from there. Yeah.
yeah.
And
From there, it's just a movie. It's a motion picture.
Yeah, it just took off.
So when did you guys start, deciding to post videos?
So, okay, so backstory. Before I got into med school, for like 2 years in undergrad, my friends and I, we ran a car review page in Dallas called Reviews Per Minute. So one of my friends, he goes by the name Metro Zoom, and he's like a really talented videographer. He like primarily shot all the videos that we did with cars, and I learned from him, like videography with the car work we did. So like that was like a big aspiration of mine, just like videography and all types of work with that way you can do it, because you can do a lot with it, as you know. And med school started, and I was like, listen, if like, I know it's gonna be a rough road, but at least I want to have some like fun. I want to decompress, and what's one way I can decompress? Make videos, right? Or like document my journey, just make fun videos, interesting videos. So the first one we did is after our retreat that we just mentioned before, we all met on the day of our white coat ceremony. On my personal TikTok, a couple of us got together, and how the shot was set up, like I mounted a phone on the wall, and we stood in like specific locations with just like no white coat on. And then the next shot's like when we snapped, we just have our white coats on in the next clip. So it was a transition clip of us putting like on the beat drop, snap, and we just have our white coats on. That was the first ever video I made on my personal TikTok, and that took off. And we're like, oh shoot, this is kind of crazy. Like, it's kind of, I mean, it was like, I didn't expect it to blow up. It did. And then me and Arbo were roommates. So we're just like looking at this taking off, and like me and him got some things like, dude, like, what if we just like make a page of the boys at med school, just like having fun and just documenting our journey. That was just like the initial stage, just like having fun with it. And we're like, oh, what's the name? And then like we thought it was like, oh, MedSchoolBoiz, like, but not YS. It has to be BOYZ. I don't know why we thought that specifically. And we just made that TikTok page, and from there, I think if you scroll all the way back, that first video we reposted that from my personal TikTok, that transition clip, and then we just started posting content from there. That's how it took off, honestly.
And there was one night where I think we were at like 4,000 followers on TikTok, and we posted, as you mentioned, one of our questions videos. And I woke up in the morning and I saw like 200 messages on my phone, and we had 55,000 followers on TikTok. And I, for a second, didn't know what happened, and I was like, "Oh man, what are we doing here?" And it's even crazy because that first day, Aaron asked us to make the video. It was we actually had our white coat ceremony at a different location because we had orientation sessions and all that stuff. And I remember like, all right, let's just do this quickly and go. Come on, guys, like, we gotta go. And so it was like, Aaron's like, come on, guys, let's just do it really quickly. And he kind of got us there, and like it was just all a blur. And I'm sure that word blur is something you could definitely probably resonate with.
Dude, definitely. I'm just curious because I distinctly remember that video of like the white coat snapping while scrolling. How many views does that have right now?
Oh man.
Probably not like, well,
I was like on my personal.
probably no. I don't think it's like 260.
On my
maybe?
personal, that had like 260,
Yeah.
capped at 300,000. But like we reposted it in our like MedSchoolBoiz account. That's, I mean,
I don't think
It actually had less on
It-
MedSchool.
I think it has less on MedSchoolBoiz because it's the first video. It's all the way down there.
Yeah.
Probably like 50, 60,000.
Yeah, at the time it seemed like 5 million, but like looking back on it, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like what? It's probably like 260K. Can't be over 300K. Like, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just average numbers, right? 260,
No,
300.
We don't look like that.
Might work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome because like hearing you guys talk about that origin video and just like even my memories of going, oh, that's cool. Just like keep scrolling because TikTok is just mindless scrolling. Grab your ADHD brain for like 15 seconds and we move on. I'm pretty sure I was
like that.
I'm pretty sure I was like supposed to be studying for something, and I came across y'all's page.
I appreciate that. You
I
saw
hope
it since day one.
I
You
hope
saw
it was
since
one of
day
the questions videos. Unless you're talking about the white coat
No,
video.
he's talking about the white coat.
Oh, the white coat
Yeah,
video.
the white
Okay.
coat. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get to the questions videos in a second though. So I just want to hear who is like the instigator for posting the videos. There you go.
Definitely Aaron.
Yeah.
Definitely Aaron.
Dude, that's awesome though. I love hearing people like having that background coming into med school and not wanting to lose that skill set, lose that passion. And I mean, that's something that I've preached on my channel a ton. So let it be known to those watching and listening. It works. Y'all, please keep up your creative passions in med school. You don't have to lose it, and you never know what opportunities can be presented to you.
100%.
Now I'm off my soapbox. Anyways, so you were saying, like, this was all just for fun at first.
Yeah.
So what was the original vision for moving forward after, the 200 plus messages getting to your phone and the like 4,000 to 55,000 spike overnight?
So initially, I guess I can break down. It's like I think we're all just like yo, this is crazy. Like, who would have thought this happened? And then like we were like in our group text, we're like processing it. Like obviously we're like very like happy and stuff like that, right? And then it got to the point where just like, yo, like it's a double-edged sword, right? It's like when you have a lot of attention and traction, it could be good, but at the same time, like we're representing our school, and we were all very worried about like representing our school in a bad light. That's definitely how it started off, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Suri, if you want to talk about this.
Yeah, I think like we didn't really have a vision. That was the thing. It was more we just want to document our journey and have fun. And then once that night happened that I referenced where it was like 55K, there was definitely a lot of nerves and excitement. But when we started thinking about the nerves, we were just kind of like, what do we do? Do we tell the school? Like, do we use the school's name? Like, what are we doing?
We hide like the A&M logo and all
So it became this thing. But I think as much work as we've put in, I think we're very grateful. I don't know if anyone's a believer in luck, but I think that definitely applies to us because I think all 10 of us, we obviously now we've like refined how we post and like we have a way that we kind of deliver content. It's more streamlined than it used to be, and it's still getting streamlined. But back then we were just kind of doing it on a whim, and we got really lucky that all 10 of the guys, there was just an inherent trust from the beginning, and you would think that okay, someone's bound to mess up at some point, but luckily all of us, not that we haven't made mistakes, but I think the trust allowed it to just keep going until we kind of centered in on our vision of what you alluded to in the beginning when you introduced us is kind of what it all is about. And so kind of navigating through some of the hate we got and like the support and all that stuff, we basically arrived at that vision. But at the beginning it was just really a lot of luck, and just that's why I think the appeal of our page, in our opinion, was just the genuine friendship is what carried it through. There wasn't a lot of politics and things like that.
Well, I was starting on the fact, like when we got the faculty support.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
that was big.
Like that was so when I mentioned before about like, oh, did we highlight the A&M logo? Like we didn't want to get in trouble for like representing A&M in a bad light. So we were always like after that first video, we were very cautious about what we posted. Like we all the guys talked about like, hey, like I think Surya was playing devil's advocate. He was like, is this any way can this get us in trouble or like hurt us in the future in terms of like residency applications and whatnot? So that's like how we operated until near the end of first semester. And I think like that's like when one of the upperclassmen, he actually like got us in touch with the dean, and the dean actually had seen our videos, and she liked what we were doing, and she was full support for what we were doing. And like hearing that from her and getting an email from her, like that literally just like made everyone relax. Like we all just like took a deep breath and just like relief. And this from then on there we could like work, like that's when we took off working with faculty. So if you've seen our faculty videos, like Dr. Chapa on the OB-GYN videos and Dr. Carpenter on the wellness videos, that's when we were able to work with our faculty in A&M. So I know like those videos would not have been possible without the full-on support of A&M faculty.
100%.
So
and I think
we love our faculty just for that.
Yeah, I think without them, the vision and what we were doing with it would have definitely been limited. So there's a lot of luck, and we're at the school. You know, at least our school's culture is very receptive to that. At least faculty-wise, for the most part.
And you guys actually answered one of the questions I had, because that's something that I had to navigate too. Is I was gonna ask, like, faculty members are kind of in on it now, but did you tell your faculty at the beginning about this, or did they kind of find out about it? Because for me, I had somewhat of a professional portfolio coming in, and I knew I wanted to make videos throughout med school. So like I just straight up emailed like class deans going, hey, look, I would much rather just be transparent with you guys and let you guys know that I'm doing this, and are there any regulations, things that I should know about while filming, just so I would much rather just tell you guys than to get an angry email at some point later on. And this was, I mean, I had less than 300 subscribers, but it was still, I kind of like saw that outlook going, okay, let's be smart about this. And
right.
Just by the off chance. And I kind of had a very similar experience where my faculty members were like, yeah, just look, as long as you don't film any patient information and like everybody who's in the videos are okay with being in the videos, go for it. And I think production quality has a lot to do with it. You know, if you bring forth a good product, they're more willing to trust you rather than like the guy with the iPhone where faculty members can probably get pretty sketched out. Like, what are you doing? Why are you recording? Like,
100%.
Where is this going to end up, right? But it's really good to hear Texas A&M is supportive of this, because I know there are a couple med schools out there that are very much the opposite.
So I have a question actually, because like I'm just trying to imagine, because I see your videos and I'm like, wow, I feel like it's like the POVs are incredible and whatnot. But like, was it weird carrying like just basically like vlogging your experience? Like everyone's like looking at like, all right, who is this guy? Like, like you're walking in a lecture, you're walking into stuff, and like, how'd you kind of like get over that?
So one, we were kind of the COVID class. So my first video that I made involving my class, I actually invited a couple of my classmates into like my house to film kind of like a reflection interview thing. It's still up on my channel. And then like we filmed that, and they saw like the quality of my work. They put it in our class group me. Everybody was like, whoa, okay, this is really cool, because like this is one way to get to know each other, because we didn't have any retreats or anything like you guys had.
Right.
We barely like had any social events, period, my first like 6 to 9 months of med school. So I think because like that first day, everybody just knew me as, oh, you're the guy who made that video. Like, I think walking around with a camera was a little bit less weird because they just kind of expected it. And it's one of those things where showing is a lot more impactful than telling. You know, if you show what you can do, then people are a lot more willing to let you do it than saying like, oh, I can film this video without giving them evidence of what it's going to look like in post, you know?
100%.
But I think also it's just, I've done a lot of event photography, videography in the past. You just get used to being the weird dude like running around the crowd trying to get the shot. So I don't think it was exactly a new feeling for me. I don't know how you guys feel when you're like doing your street interviews.
Well, I think Aaron, luckily, like someone like Aaron's very, you know, he's got a good sense of self, and he's the one that's kind of like inspired us to just be like, hey, if you're not doing anything wrong, like don't worry, you know, what the world's thinking. And so like seeing the confidence that he has, and especially some of these guys, like, you know, they just kind of go in and they just do their thing. I think some of the other guys are like, you know what, it's fine. And like, it's kind of been a process of understanding that that's all right. You know, like we got this.
Man, you guys will learn. I'm sure you all remember your first hate comment too.
I was like, when our first video went viral, like how it started. You been talking about this. I remember you like talking about the white coat video, the slow-mo videos. Oh. How it started, like the general pattern.
Oh, I mean, I think, you know, as an influencer, you're always going to get hate. But I will say, luckily, like, we've had more support than hate overall.
Yeah.
And I think in the beginning, whenever people see your videos, people are always skeptical. And that's, you know, if I saw a new video, you feel out the people, like, who are they? What kind of content are they creating? So it's natural for you to get hate and people to be skeptical of who you are. And, you know, we were skeptical of who we were and what kind of product we were putting out there. So, you know, initially, the white coat video, it was nice. We got a lot of support from health professionals, not just medical students, but from nurses, from PAs, and, you know, just the health community in general. And so everybody messes up sometimes. Maybe some of our stuff would be cringy. It is TikTok. We would go with some trends and whatnot. But we learn from that, right? You make mistakes. I think hate comments make you a little bit stronger to like take criticism from others and reflect on your own work. And so, you know, I think what's good with having 10 guys is that we have a really good system of checking what we post. And I truly respect every guy's opinion. There's not one guy that says something, you know, out of whack or anything like that. Everybody has a good viewpoint. Sometimes Drew will just play the devil's advocate just to have that viewpoint out there. So it's been really nice, like having like a big group of intelligent guys that can check your work, and so we can minimize, you know, everything you put on social media has to be curated because there's so many people watching it, and people will take what you put out there. They don't know us how we are on a personal level. They only know what they see on social media, and how you portray that is so important.
Yeah, I would even say, like, just to add on to that, with 10 guys, it's not even personal. It's good because with 10 guys, it doesn't seem as personal all the time. And so sometimes we'll chuckle at it, and like really our perspective is when we get a comment, and like honestly, I don't have any like numbers or statistics on this. I'm just throwing an arbitrary number. Like 99% of the comments we get are supportive, honestly, maybe like 90%. And like those few hate comments, our first instinct is always, oh, is there like constructive criticism in this? Is there something we can get from this? And that's kind of the first angle we kind of come at it with. And if there's valid criticism, or if there's like a valid suggestion, we always take it back. And we reply sometimes to the DMs and the comments. We're like, hey, we appreciate you sharing that. But then if it's just straight hate or there's nothing about it, you know, if someone's taking the time to do that, they're probably not in a good place. So there's no anger. It's usually just, hey, we feel bad that that person is taking the time to say something like that. And it's kind of like an empathy thing. Hope they get in a better place too.
Honestly,
I hope they're doing, like, if they have the time to drop a comment like that, I hope, one, they're doing fine. But two, I don't think they realize that, like, when we started, I kind of analyzed the algorithm. That actually helps your algorithm. Like, a bunch of, like, one hate comment and, like, more and more comments, no effect it gets your video in the algorithm. Like, it's just, I mean, it's like, we kind of benefit from two if we get them, so.
Honestly, even in the beginning when we were getting, like, hate comments here and there, I think it was our favorite thing when other viewers would reply to that comment and they would like defend us. And
Dude,
so it was
that
like
is the best feeling.
Yeah, and it's like we don't even have to do anything. We just sit back and just keep making more content.
If you go to our earlier videos, the slow-mo videos, you'll see like whole debates in a comment section. It's kind of funny. Like people are like debating with each other, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Well, I was gonna ask you because like, yeah, as one person, I can't even imagine you getting hate comments. Like, I don't even know what you do that would like get hate comments. But like, as one guy, I mean, obviously you've got a team and like you've got people in your class supporting you. But was that like pretty hard at first, or no?
I think like it's just a part of it. Even and something you guys will realize too. No matter how curated and no matter how many like revisions you do, it's the internet. Context is going to be lost.
Yeah.
Right.
And most of like some of the hate, or I mean, I think hate's an extreme word. I think just a lot of the misunderstandings that you get from a lot of comments is because context will always be removed from a video that you post. Like, for example, and this is going to be a podcast exclusive. My interview with awesome guy, Kojo Sarfo. He's a nurse practitioner out in LA. He's an alumni of my undergrad university, got his DNP degree there too. Mm-hmm. That video, I specifically chose him and filtered out a lot of NPs because he is one of the best examples of teamwork and camaraderie and how an NP serves their role in the medical team and treatment. Mm-hmm. And he explains his role so well. But because there's this overarching narrative that physicians and mid-levels have to be mortal enemies, that video got ripped apart. And it's not my job to sit here and explain, like, these interviews are not just highlighting physician specialties, but also alternative medical careers, because there is not just going to be physicians involved in the care of a patient. And that's just a matter of fact. But nobody's going to listen to that explanation in the comments. Mm-hmm. They just see, you're a sellout, you interviewed an NP, why are you entertaining the enemy side? I'm like, you're not the enemy side. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. And a lot of the comments you get, like, they're just looking for a response. And that's something you learn. And you just have to understand if your mission is true, you've done your work to, get all your quality checks, and like it's benefiting your audience, viewers, more than harming,
right?
Then there's nothing wrong with it. And I can go on and on about that. I just, when you've been on the platform for a while, you learn how to deal with it. Although y'all are brave. TikTok comments sometimes rival Twitter threads. Y'all,
they're good.
We'll move it along because again, we can talk about this all day long.
Of course.
Okay, before I kind of get to some of your viral videos, like the street interviews, I just want to know, how have y'all's classmates reacted to just the absolute booming of MedSchoolBoiz?
I don't know.
I'll go for it. Yeah. I think there's always skepticism in the beginning, especially with a platform like TikTok. What are these group of 10 guys going to do with this platform? Are you guys your own clique? Are you guys inclusive to everyone in the class? So questions like that, I think people in our class were feeling. Just because we're all new to each other, we're all trying to make friends. But sometimes it can be intimidating that you see a group of friends that seem like they've known each other for such a long time, and they're just always doing stuff together. And so I think that's one thing that, got brought up from a few people I talked to in my class. It seems like you guys were your own thing, but after they got to know us, we're the type of people who want to be friends with everybody. Like Aaron's always like, let's include people in our class into our videos because we're all in it together. And so I think that's one thing that maybe in the beginning was there. But as they saw our channel grow and saw the stuff we would do for our school or our classmates, they started liking us more and more. And so I think there's a positive, connotation with our group and what we bring to our classmates. And I would think our classmates like us. And the initial skepticism, I think that's completely valid.
Yeah. I would be skeptical too.
I'd be skeptical. Yeah. If I was in the flip side, 100%.
Yeah.
How he explained it is exactly how it happened. And in the beginning, it was like
we still had a lot of people support us from the beginning.
Yeah,
but I just want to make that clear. Yeah.
What I was saying is like in the beginning, I had like fun making these videos, right? It's what I want to do, but I never saw like the intimidation factor came in. That's like kind of one thing I didn't like about the page. It was kind of like a bad thing to happen because I didn't want to. I'm more like I'm a social guy, right? I like talking to people. I want people to feel included, but having a page make people feel like intimidated and kind of excluded is kind of like, damn, it kind of sucks. So as the page progressed, I wanted to include our classmates more, like ask them questions, like unexpected questions, only if they were down with it, and the question right, of course. And I think we also did at the AMSA event, we did an ethnicity question, like an ethnicity video, where we went up to our classmates, like, what ethnicity are you? We had our Michelle do it. She killed it in terms of interview. I didn't know she had those interview skills in her. She went around and asked all her classmates where they're from and everything like that. So that, like, it started off like that, but how it transitioned now to where it's at right now, it's a lot better.
I think the main criticism we also got, I would talk to friends. A lot of people don't want to broach the subject with you, but with people I trust, I'm like, yo, just give it to me straight. Come on, like, what's your vibes? You know, tell me about it. And I think they would say, I feel like you're making med school seem easy, or I feel like you're making med school, you're not showing it correctly. And I basically told them, you know, I was like, listen, we're not trying to show you what med school should be, or we're not trying to show you what medicine is. We're just simply showing you what it can be, what it could be, and just our journey with it. And so that being said, you know, that doesn't mean we're not struggling at all. That doesn't mean we're having a super easy breeze, you know, of a time. We're just simply showing the friendship, and we're, you know, I don't even want to say we're giving it to you real, because we're also not showing all the time, like the studying that we're putting into it and stuff like that. We're just kind of showing you another side to it. It's simply another perspective. So that's something we try to tell people, and, you know, at some point, most people understand, but like you said, you can only do so much with that, right?
We can only make so much content with us, you know, in front of a camera studying. So like no one wants to see that. So
yeah. But we do plan, you know, we do try to go on panels and things like that and discuss those things. And that's something we, you know, try to do with the page as well.
Dude, absolutely. It's just funny. I've actually gotten the opposite from a few of my classmates where it's like, why do you make med school look so hard and like suffering? You know, I try not to do that. You know, there have been multiple times where I've canned projects because it's like, it's just a bad week. Like every time I press the record button, I have nothing good to say, and it's just like that just simply isn't going to help me. It's not going to help anybody else out there. So, you know, at that point you have to call it, but at the same time you don't want to mask that, you know, this is just a breeze, we're just out here partying all the time, and we're here to be an influencer only and not to be like a good physician
100%.
at the end of these 4 years. And so there's a balance it takes, and that's this weird genre of social media and medicine. Like it's only recently established itself. So you guys are same with me in this pioneering boat.
Hey, we have a lot to learn from you. We're hopefully one day, you know. But
dude, for sure you'll get there. All right, now I want to touch on the viral stuff. How did the whole idea of the street interviews come in? And if you guys listening or watching have not seen these, just find them. Links will be in the description, show notes, to go find their socials. It'll probably be one of the pinned or like the most viewed videos.
I mean, I thought we were like all you going to point to this man. Like it was his idea.
It was my idea?
Yes, it was.
I thought it was my idea. I'll take credit for it.
No,
it wasn't.
No. He's talking about the street interviews.
He's question video, but it's a question video, right?
I think he's talking about the question
videos.
The
street videos or question videos?
Did you say the street videos or the question videos?
Oh, just the question videos.
Okay. We're talking about question videos. It was Arba, like the classmates of that. Because I think
the thing is, like, there's not credit to one person. Like, you know, the street thing versus like where it's the group. So, but in terms of idea, like ideas are always being bounced around. Like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. So I just put that idea out there, like, hey, we should go ask people questions. But I didn't execute it. That was all Aaron. He's the one that went and asked the question. So even though I came up with the idea, the execution was done by Aaron. So. Yeah. I say we'll split it half and half.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
half and half.
it's just like well, I mean, one person brings up the idea and then like someone in the group just executes it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But in terms of those questions with our classmates, that was his idea. I think we saw it like I think it was like, do you see like a TikTok video of like graduating MDs, and they like at their graduation, they asked each other questions just like when they graduated, and I was like, what if we just do as our classmates, and then we executed that. But when we're talking about the street videos, we were trying to think of new content to evolve our page, and this is before we even did any like random interviews with random people. Surya was the one who was like, why don't we just go ask random people? Like, I think he just randomly said that.
Well, for me, we were out near College Station. There's a bar district called Northgate, and there's a lot of nightlife and a lot of fun stuff to do on weekends there. And we went there, and I just remember having such a boring time. I just remember, like, I'm not trying to say going up. No, but hear me out.
This is your experience. No,
hear me out. This is just, I'm speaking for myself here, not necessarily for all the guys here. But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, sometimes I'm personally not that big of a fan of, going out all the time. I'm more of a homebody. I love, like, chilling with the guys and kicking back and relaxing. And I remember telling them, like, guys, like, why don't we just start asking people questions here, right? And the whole idea around it was, okay, we're not going to go to someone and ask them a very nuanced medical question. We want the questions to be, and this is another thing, people will be like, we'll have med students in the comments sometimes be like, oh, that was such an easy question. And I'll be like, yeah, but like the idea of it is we want to I was just like, we should just ask random people like useful nuggets of information that like the average person could like find useful, even if they're outside of medicine. And so that was kind of the idea for it. And so we did it. We had a lot of people, some people would like get away from us, don't ask us, but eventually a lot of people, they started being really receptive to us, and then they'd be at the same location and they'd be like, oh my God, come ask me the question right now. And it like slowly became a thing over the course of some weeks where,
they're like a bunch of Aggies at A&M like, oh my God, are you guys a group of medical students?
Yeah, so we, instead of us going, there'd be like a line almost like that would start to form, and it was like, what, it kind of just took off that way.
We were like interviewing like one group, and like another group was like, no, ask me. He's like, yo, Tranquilo, we gotta ask these people, and then we'll ask y'all. Like it got to like that amount of attention, like it over a period of like 4 weeks, and it just took off.
Like we were running out of questions to ask. We would like huddle up and be like, yo, what's a good question to ask?
Yeah, we had to think of questions on the fly, like because people came up to us. Like,
so it was basically to your initial question. We had just bounced off of each other, and we just kind of vibed it, and here we are with that.
Dude, that's so cool that you have people lined up.
Well, it's not like a line that's going out the door or anything like that. Like it definitely, it was like a huddle of people for sure, like there. So that's when we were like, I remember looking at Aaron one time and I was like, yo, like I want to go home, man. Like this is fun. It's fun.
It got to the point where like, listen, I enjoy going out like with like people like my classmates, having a good time, or, like in clubs and whatnot. But it got to the point where going out at Northgate, it was like going out to Northgate or asking questions at Northgate. And I had more fun asking questions at Northgate. And that's all I went to Northgate for. Just ask questions. No more going out.
Well, kind of to that point, I know you've done like a bunch of different locations. Where has been the most fun place that you've done these like street interviews?
Oh, definitely.
Northgate's that it's like a bar district. Like they have a lot of restaurants and things like that in College Station, which is where Texas A&M is. I would say there, just because, it's people are bringing the energy and it's a lot of fun. So I would definitely say that, right?
I think my favorite interview there was Arshad asked this one dude, what's the difference between a myocardial infarction and a heart attack? And I don't know if you've seen that video, Andy. He started acting it out. He didn't give an answer. He just started acting it out, and then that video was probably the funniest.
And we even with those videos though, as much as we do vibe them, we have a very nuanced way of kind of posting and like curating the content. When it comes to that, we don't just like go up to a random person. We do go up to random people, but at the same time, it's not just, we don't ever want to embarrass someone or do anything like that. We have a systematic way that we kind of go about it.
Yeah, we make sure we let them know like how many people are going to see this potentially and like what they're in for.
Yeah. And for all the people watching this that say we pre-ask the questions, we do not. They are on the fly.
Yeah, they are on the fly.
No one knows the answer before.
Sometimes we don't even know the questions. So
Hey, you heard it here first. What is your favorite question to ask?
Favorite question that we've asked?
Favorite question? I think that one.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a heart attack and a myocardial infarction?
I don't know. Look, I think mine's is a nephrologist question.
Oh yeah. Talk about
me and Arba went out one day just to like, in like 98-degree Texas weather. It's like, yo, let's just go out. walked through main campus at A&M and asked people questions. And so he was recording. But what was different about this video is like initially, like at Northgate, we'd go up to the people we introduced. It was like, hey, we're medical students from A&M. We have a TikTok page. Can we ask you a medical question for our TikTok account? But in this video, what was different is we just ran up to these people on the fly and asked them. Like they didn't expect anything. We just asked them. And once the video was done, we let them know, like, hey, like, can we post this on page, what we do? And like, some were okay with it, some were not. But everyone that was on that video obviously said yes to it. But so we ran up to these people and we asked them, like, yo, what organ does a nephrologist treat? And you know, like, if you're in a medical background, you're gonna know that. But the average person, if you think about it, no one's gonna really know that, right?
Well, so, like a lot of people
don't know what a nephrologist.
The nephron, kidney, like people don't make that, you know. Yeah, no one makes that like.
And why I like that video is because I think that was like our most viewed video, or like, and that had 8 million, and I just like to say, okay, now we can say that we educated 8 million people on if you have kidney issues, you're most likely gonna go see a nephrologist. So that's my favorite video because it was kind of educational, it was very fun.
And like that's the crazy thing too. You guys didn't even like it. I don't know how much planning went to it. There's videos that we've sat down for hours and planned, and the views aren't there.
Me and Aaron had nothing better to do that day. So
yeah, really just went on us. Yeah.
Bro, that's TikTok. That's honestly TikTok.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's kind of crazy? It's the videos that we plan out and spend a lot of time, no views, and then the ones that we spend 30 seconds on blows up.
Yeah.
So, not all the time.
Well, not all the time.
Not all the time.
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's been a trend.
It's a trend. Like if it's like when it's like low effort, but like the quality, like the consistent thing is a quality in these videos. There's like quality and that's consistently seen in our videos, but the amount of effort, if it's like low effort and quality, it just, I don't know. Our trend has just been like it's done better than
maybe it seems more natural. I don't know.
I have no idea.
We don't base it just off the views for like how we create the content, but that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Hey man, it happens. Come over to the YouTube side. We appreciate well thought out content.
YouTube is a lot hard. Like, dude, congratulations to you for hitting 100,000 subscribers. Because YouTube is hard to go. Like TikTok, like I think anyone can go viral on TikTok. It's not hard to do. Like you see like an average person. It's very user friendly, iPhone friendly, so anyone can make a viral TikTok video. Mm-hmm. But YouTube is a different ballgame.
Yeah. Mad props
to you. You consistently have worked on this for how long? And to 100,000 subscribers on that platform is insane. So well deserved on your part.
Oh man, thank you guys. I'm supposed to be the one flattering y'all, not the other way around. All right, so I don't blush anymore. We'll get a little bit closer to wrapping up. Some more sentimental questions. So first off, what has been the most unexpected but awesome opportunity that you guys have gotten from just making MedSchoolBoiz?
This one's up there.
Is this just like a very general question, or could it be like, are you talking about opportunity in terms of career-wise, or are you talking about any opportunities in general?
I think any opportunities in general. Ones that like you never thought would happen to you in med school, and that like having this page opened.
Okay, yeah, I think that question varies from person to person. For me, it's easily this one, just because I know these guys weren't following your page until they came to med school, but I've like been following your page for a hot minute now. So as soon as I saw your DM, I was like, there's no way. I remember I screenshotted and I sent it to these guys. I'm like, guys, like, here are the videos. Like, here's the interview with Dr. Ciullini. Here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. Like, so for me, it's pretty easily this one. I'm not just saying that to flatter you, Andy. Like, I'm being scared with that. These guys can attest to it for sure. But I don't know.
Yeah,
these guys may have a different answer.
You have a different? I mean, I have an answer.
I think what was really cool is when faculty started like coming up to us in hallways, and they already knew about our page, and the fact that they were asking us like, hey, like, is it cool if we make content with you guys? I have these ideas, and it was just super cool to see that our own faculty wanted to get involved, and just it's a win-win situation for everyone because we're trying to educate the community, and these faculty obviously have specialized knowledge that we as first-year medical students didn't have, so it was just a really neat experience.
I remember one time I was with Harshit and Aaron, and we were in a parking lot, and from the other side of the parking lot there was a faculty member, and he's like, MedSchoolBoiz! And he like walked up to us, and we didn't know who he was, and he introduced himself. Oh, we knew of him.
Yeah, we knew of him.
But he was like a very like well-known amazing faculty member.
It's kind of intimidating, I don't know why, but
yeah, so it's like stuff like that, I guess, to your point, right?
Yeah.
What about y'all?
I'll go with, I've always been the type of person where I always have like a few close friends. Like even in undergrad, I had 3 or 4 friends that I was always hang out with. You have bigger groups of friend groups, but I was always a tight-knit type of guy. And so coming into med school and having so many close friends, I think that was the best opportunity for me. And being able to have this page, I think brought us together. It could, kill our friendship too. We thought about that. But, no, it's just social media, but it didn't. Right now, it's working out great. I think it's really great that we can bond over this, and every guy has been extremely selfless and put the other guy forward, trying to make the other guy look better. So having friends like that in my life, I think has been the greatest opportunity, because I got to know these guys in a deeper way that I don't think I would have unless this page existed.
That was really sweet.
Why should I
You anything else?
I did want to add one thing to that. I don't know if you knew this, Andy, but the way Texas A&M operates is that our class gets split up after the first year. And so actually a lot of us are getting split up into different campuses,
for clinical rotations.
We get split up into different cities for clinical rotations. And just knowing that we have this we were probably going to be great friends anyways, but having this MedSchoolBoiz account is going to keep us, in touch with each other even more. And I'm really looking forward to that and seeing how that's going to develop over the next 2 years.
And luckily enough, that distribution, it was like an even spread amongst 3 campuses. So there'll be 4 of us in Round Rock and Austin, 3 of us in Houston, and 3 of us in Dallas. So kind of evenly worked out in that way. So I'm glad for that. But
also, another thing I want to say about our group that's really awesome, we're the group that gets it out of the group chat phase. For example, we wanted to go to Cancun, and we thought about I think somebody mentioned hey, let's go to Cancun over, was it winter break?
Yeah,
it was winter break, let's go. And then within 2 days, everybody's flights are booked, hotels booked, and we're ready to go. And then we caught COVID.
Yeah, we caught
2 days before our flight, and so we had to cancel everything.
But we went to South Padre.
And it's so crazy that everybody's just down to do whatever, just not too much planning ahead. And so I think that's really.
And it's not even for the big moments too. It's just even a dinner. A lot of times, you could probably attest to this. It's we got an exam. We have a pre-exam dinner ritual, and so no matter where we are with studying, no matter how much we need to cram or where we are, it's all right, guys. 7 p.m., 8 p.m. We're going to get dinner the night before the exam. It's a non-negotiable, because that's life, right? You always got to make time for those type of things. So it's kind of set a good
precedent.
Yeah, precedent going forward with other small things like that. So we definitely appreciate all the small moments for sure.
I guess I could wrap up this answer. So I didn't expect being intertwined with medical school, social media influencers Dr. Goodman, when he commented on our first couple of videos, they were dude, that's crazy. We all watched him before we even got to med school, and seeing him kind of support our page meant a lot to us.
As Andy could definitely attest to. Dr. Goodman.
Jake is awesome.
And then
Dr. Ryan Gray.
So I was a reapplicant to med school, and the second time I applied, reading Dr. Ryan's great book, his interview book, is what got me in the second time. And then he hopped on. We were on TikTok live once, and he hopped on the live, and he started talking to us. I'm dude, you got me into med school, bro. If I wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be here. It'd be crazy.
It was really crazy the way it happened, because I think somebody was asking us for interview tips.
Yeah.
And so we were mentioning, you should read this book called Interview Tips to the exact name. And then someone commented, that's my book. And they're who is that? And then we saw it was Dr. Ryan Gray himself, and he was in the live the entire time, and then it was a coincidence.
We went live with him. That was an example.
Doc Schmidt.
The Doc Schmidt collab, Surya and Allen did. That was well executed.
Yeah, super neat experience.
It's always good. Each content creator, they've got. Even in your page, everyone's got such a unique style. We're just soaking in with all the stuff. We're just learning so much from each person.
And then the most recent one, my sister, older sister, she's a pediatric resident in Philly. She just finished her first year. So my family, for Easter break, we flew in to go visit her. And I don't know if do you know Manan on TikTok? He's a 4th year. He just ran up.
You probably have maybe seen his videos
Maybe
pop on your.
He's like another like TikTok med school influencer, and like I reached out to him to like collab with him, and we did a questions video, and I collabed with him, and like me and him just hung out in Philly, just like vibing and like exploring the city. We played like basketball on an outdoor Philly court, so it was kind of like I didn't expect this page to have this network with so many different people around the nation, and I think that was like the coolest thing that's come from this page. Like our network has just expanded like crazy, and I guess that's what I really appreciate the most of this page. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of fun, and I especially like doing like this is another example like like this podcast that we're doing with you. So I just hope like we can do more things with a bunch of other content creators.
Yeah. Long-winded answer, but
yeah.
Oh, dude, I mean, my biggest thing is the just expansive network that you grow.
Yeah.
Social media can be super detrimental, but it can also just open up so many doors. And I mean, I was in LA to film with Dr. Kojo, and then like I just know I didn't even know where Rachel Southard like went to med school. I just knew she was in California and that she was in LA like a week or two before. Yeah. And I just like DM'd her like, hey, how close are you to LA? You want to meet up? And that turned around in like 48 hours.
I saw.
So it's little things like that. Meeting up with Josh in New York. Mm-hmm. Again, whenever it's like I can basically go to any major city now and have like a friend to see or somebody there, which is it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And 4 more in Texas, so
hey, 10 more.
Dude, absolutely, man. I'm sure I'll be in Texas at some point.
You have the Texas major cities covered by us. Dallas.
All of them.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Before I get to the last question, this would not be a MedSchoolBoiz video without a little bit of rapid review. So I don't have a lapel mic. This is obviously not the streets, but I'm gonna turn it over to you guys.
I knew this was gonna happen. All right, here we go.
Hey, you can't make videos off of asking random people questions and not expect to get a taste of your own medicine.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough.
All right, ready?
Let's go for it.
What does NSAID stand for?
Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs.
What antibody is specific for drug-induced lupus?
IG.
Drug-induced lupus. Oh,
is it IG?
Wait, what's it? I'm trying to think. Rash or pain, the acronym.
IgE.
5, 4, 3, 2,
IgE.
1. Antihistone.
Oh,
this is why I asked if you guys did immunology before.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What is an orthopedic surgeon's favorite antibiotic?
Is it something like an A or O? It's one of the two.
Hit us with it. We don't know.
5, 4. Ancef, also known as cefazolin.
Cefazolin.
What drug class is that?
Cefazolin? Is that cephalosporin?
Cephalosporin sounds like a
cephalosporin.
We're gonna go with cephalosporin.
It's a first-gen cephalosporin.
Oh,
nice.
Got you. Okay.
And strep pneumo is the most common cause of which 5 diseases?
I'm having a brain fart right now.
Hint. CMOPS.
CMOPS. Is that an acronym for something?
Yeah, he's doing that.
So, some kind of cardiovascular.
Hit us with it. We're starting.
Pericarditis.
CMOPS, conjunctivitis, meningitis, otitis media, pneumonia, and sinusitis.
Got you.
Jeez.
Oof, that's
It's an Anki card.
What was the acronym for that again?
What?
What was the acronym again for that?
CMOPS.
CMOPS.
Yeah.
Yep.
Conjunctivitis.
Step 1 prep is hey, he got us started on step 1 prep right
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured, I was like, how do I gauge this difficulty? You guys are just finished your first year of med school, so like I can throw you some actual med questions, not how many lobes are in the the right liver. So, all right.
No, he was just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Now, last question. You guys your audience is a lot of people wanting to be in your shoes one day. Same thing with mine. There's a lot of pre-meds, a lot of in high school, college, even post-grad, right? So to those people watching or listening now, what is your advice for the prospective med student?
Oh man, there's a lot of things to say.
Yeah, there's so much you could say.
I would say find your group of people first, like if you can. If you are a social person, that is, because it's kind of weird. When I came back home to Dallas, a lot of my family friends and people from church and everything are like, dude, how's med school? And I'm like actually genuinely sitting here and telling them like, dude, it's fun. And then I followed up with like it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Like we study hard. We do the work, but I'm having fun in med school. And I don't think that's a typical answer. And the only reason why I can say that is because like of the guys that I've met. Like they made this first year incredible. So to any incoming medical student, find your group of people. They're definitely going to be the ones to get you through 4 years and residency and onwards. But
My advice would be enjoy the stage you are at now. Whether you're just applying for med school, enjoy that pre-med years, enjoy the struggle that you're taking the MCAT, because maybe you'll just take it once.
I don't know about doing the MCAT struggle, but
I mean, it's just part of it. You live through it.
Right.
It's hindsight's 2020. It's just part of it. There's always going to be something. Right now, we're thinking about residency or when we're attending, and so whenever medical school is done, we're going to look back and reminisce on that. So I would say whether you've got into med school or whatever stage, whatever career, just enjoy the moment you have now and don't think too much in the future because things will work out.
To kind of build off of that, I think my advice would be it's about the small things that make you happy. There's always going to be another lecture to study or another disease to learn or just something else to do. And you have to make time for yourself every day, at least a little bit, and really check in with your family, friends, and really that's, like medicine is very important and we're obviously making big sacrifices to pursue it, but it doesn't mean it has to be our entire life. So I think just making time for yourself and just having good time management skills, I think would be my advice.
Wait, I want to add one more thing to what Harsh said. I think everybody should have, one of our good friends, he's part of the MedSchoolBoiz, Jeswin, he said everybody should have a list of non-negotiables that you go back to, and every day you're thinking like, am I putting enough towards this? Am I putting enough towards this? Whatever it is for you, whether it's family, friends, social life, studying, you need to put a little bit in each category so you're satisfying them all. And so I thought the way he put it was amazing. So I just thought I'd mention it in there.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where, we're not at clinical rotations yet, and as you can attest to, that's a whole different ball game. And so definitely some of those non-negotiables and whatnot are going to have to always adjust, but they can still be there. And I definitely think, in terms of what I would say is have some grace for yourself in terms of learning the content and actually becoming a physician. Because I know after my first year, I looked back and I was like, I had this moment where I was like, I passed all these blocks, but I don't think I know anything. I don't know how I just did that. And even when you were asking us the questions, I was like, oh my God, I remember seeing that on Anki card. Oh my God. And I just wasn't trusting myself enough.
I said lupus instead of rash or pain because I was like,
yeah, I was just my instinct was to throw out a word. I wasn't, and so after that, I was just like, but you know what, it's okay. We still do know a lot, and it'll just continue to build on each other. I know I was doing a preceptorship in internal medicine this summer, and I remember things were popping up, and I was just kind of getting frustrated at myself for not remembering certain drug names. And the physician took me aside and he was like, listen, I've been doing this for decades. This is something that if you just give yourself some grace and make the effort to learn it, whether you want to learn it or not, it's going to be in here someday. So have some grace on yourself, and you're just, even though you finished your first year, I remember him telling me, if you don't know what to do when you walk in that patient room, ask them if they want a glass of water. And you've already taken something away from this. So I think to show your grace, have some grace on yourself in terms of learning the medical content, because I definitely didn't have enough of that going into it. And I'd be really hard on myself. Why is this not sticking? Oh my God, this is, I've seen this 5 times. I've seen this Anki card 100 times. And for some reason it's not in there. So I would say that, because as you can attest to, Andy, and a lot of your videos, that's a lot of physicians, it's a lifelong process. It never stops. So it's kind of reassuring to know that, because you're a continuously rising stock in some sense, right? So yeah, I think these guys also said some really good stuff. And there you have it.
I agree with literally everything you guys said. And just a fair warning, halfway through your clinical years, you're still going to feel like that. Like, that grace needs to be there for the rest of your career, the rest of your life.
Right.
You'll need that when you graduate med school and become a resident. You'll need that when it's your first year as an attending. So I love it. Thank you guys so much, because that is all I have for you. You guys represent A&M well.
Thank
We
you.
That means
appreciate
a lot,
that.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much,
that so
man.
much.
So thanks for being on the podcast, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys as you progress through med school.
Thank you, and
Of
thank you
course.
for inviting
Thanks,
us.
Andy.
Of course, we appreciate
You as
the-
well, man.
We appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching or listening to the Beyond the Scope podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's guests, and to make sure that you don't miss a single episode, make sure that you follow Beyond the Scope on all streaming platforms, as well as if you want to see the full video cut, subscribe to my YouTube channel, NDMD. As always, subscribe, like, follow, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.